All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I know Anna, a part of our Coach's Corner. I got to see Anna last night. So we enjoyed seeing you, Anna, in Ripley, Mississippi. But it's fun to kind of go around the country and see all of our different members across the Coach's Corner pop up and get to meet in person. I read something just the other day. I want you to think about this. In a world of social media, and we got a lot of different things that we can tune into live, but one of the things that I was reading in an audio is never miss out on the opportunity to come together. Because one of the things you can't do on a Zoom is you can't break bread with people and smell the awesomeness of coming together over a meal. You also can't hug and experience the hug of another human being over a Zoom or over social media. And although we can reach out and we can connect, we have to, one of the things that our human that's ingrained in us from being born is the sense of smell, touch, love, all of that comes with personal connections of getting together. And so whatever it is, try to five senses. That's right, Arlene. 5 senses that we all need as human beings. Sometimes social media does not give us that. And so we have to find opportunities to come together. So whether I was in Minnesota last week, got to spend time with John and Lauren and just realized that I owe them a phone call. Oh my goodness. I'll give you a call, John. And, you know, just last night getting to spend time with Anna here. So, all right. The word for today, sorry, Andrea, I went off on a little tangent, but the word for today is receive. And I went all over the place with the word receive. If you look at the definition, it's be given, presented with, or paid something. And let me ask you a question. Is receiving, is it much harder than giving? Are you the type person that receiving is much harder for you than actually just giving? And I want you to think about that, because for me, receiving is a hard thing. Like, have you ever been paid a compliment and you try to reverse it on them? Hey, Arlene, you look beautiful today. And then Arlene goes, Brent, you look amazing. And Arlene tries to throw the compliment back, because receiving is so awkward sometimes to some people. Well, that's me, where I'm really stealing the thunder from the person that's trying to give me a compliment. I'm really stealing it. And it really falls back on, it's my own ego. Like it does not, I feel awkward. So to suppress my ego and just say, thank you. Hey, Brent, really appreciate you doing the Coach's Corner. Thank you. Because and then I think about it, because receiving and giving is kind of a coin. I look at it as like a quarter, heads and tails. It takes both, right? It takes both. So it's almost one, right? A quarter's one, but it has a heads and tails. So there's a receiving side and there's a giving side. And if we as receivers don't receive from the giver, we're stealing the thunder. We're stealing the opposite side of the coin. And crazy enough, in my mind of thinking about this today, I'll challenge each of us, if we're not good at receiving, practice being better by just saying thank you, by just saying, I appreciate it. And then use it as an opportunity to pay it forward. If somebody's kind to you, just be willing to say thank you and try not to role reverse it on. But for your ego's sake, realize that, hey, every time somebody pays me a compliment, every time somebody gives me something, then I'm going to use that as an opportunity to say thank you, but then pay it forward during the day, right? Somebody buys me a cup of coffee, thank you. But use that giving mechanism of that human being to me to pay it forward down the road in the day. Does that make sense? I can't see everybody's face this morning, but I believe that a lot of people have trouble receiving, just like I do. And how many of you agree, maybe you put it in the comments, that giving gives you so much pleasure? You give a gift, you give a compliment, you go by and cut somebody's yard, you do something, and it gives you so much pleasure. It does so much for your ego. Like, you just feel good for the day. I say it all the time. Giving is my Maserati. But receiving is a whole different animal, because I'm having to suppress my ego. I'm having to say just thank you. And it's just an awkward occurrence. So what I did with this lesson this morning with receiving is I'm going to try to do a better job. If Vince Green hands me a compliment, I'm going to say, thank you, Vince. But then in my mind, I'm going to go, you know what? Because Vince did that to me during this day, this 24-hour period, I'm going to pay it forward by handing someone else a compliment, because it did so much for Vince to get to do this to me. And it'll do so much for me to do it to someone else. But I don't need to reverse it around on Vince. Let him enjoy giving. So, Andrea, that's kind of where I went this morning. I think a lot of people probably have trouble with the receiving, just like I do. So I hope this made sense, what I'm trying to say this morning. It was a great word. I just didn't know if I could convey it to where it made sense. So I'll turn it to you.
Well, it absolutely made sense. And I think you stepped on my toes. I never really thought the fact that I'm horrible at taking a compliment, like I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible at asking for help. Like, this is a lesson I need. I never thought that that was an ego issue, right? And golly, I'm like, I'm going to have to walk around with like Band-Aids on or something today. So that was a good one, because I do think it can be really hard. Not for everybody, I'm sure, but for me, if you say something nice about me, I kind of want to crawl under a table. Like, I'm grateful, I want to hear it, but I don't want to hear it. Does that make any sense? But anyway, I went in a completely different direction, because we think a little bit differently. But I talked about, or what I looked at, was how to receive what we want, right? So, we all have things that we want in this world. How can we receive them? So everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. And I can't say the person's name that said that. It wasn't me. So if you want to know who to attribute that to, go Google that quote, because I can't even begin to pronounce it. But golly, isn't that true? And if we are, kind of like Coach said, if we're constantly rejecting those compliments, or we're rejecting kindness, or we're rejecting that, why in the world would the world keep giving it to us? So if we want more of that good stuff in our life, we've got to be open to receiving it. So how do we do this? How do we achieve or receive what we want in this world? So I'm going to talk about 6 quick steps. So first of all, make the decision. So make a decision to have what you want, even if you don't know how to get it. So, this sounds really deceptively simple, because most of us are pretty tentative about asking, right? That's what we're talking about. We're pretty tentative about asking. We know what we want, but maybe we don't know how to get it. We know what we want, but we don't want to ask for it. But be specific. Make a decision that, for example, you want a life of personal and financial freedom by the time you're X age, right? So whatever that age may be. Or maybe you want that month-long European vacation, or you want that perfect partner, or a thriving business, or whatever it may be. So maybe you want that. Make that decision and then start small. So maybe it's that you want chicken salad for lunch, right? Whatever it may be, but be decisive on the small decisions. so that you can figure out how to be decisive on the big ones, and then be clear about the outcome. So, when you consider what you want, make sure that you're not considering what you don't want, right? So if you say, I want financial freedom, you're not talking about your debt, right? You're talking about what that financial freedom is going to look like, and you visualize that, and then detach yourself from the process. So sometimes not knowing the how, right? I want this huge thriving business and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get it. That can make me freeze, and I can stop and I cannot do anything. So don't worry so much about the how. Just remember that when you ordered that salad, right, that chicken salad, you were very specific in what you wanted, and you didn't really worry about the restaurant was going to do to bring you that chicken salad. You just knew it was then in their hands. And then number 4, expect that it's going to happen. So be optimistic, be hopeful. Obviously, that's going to drive your behavior. So we're not looking for magic right now. Like, I'm not looking for, to be struck by the lightning of the lottery ticket, right? But I'm going to expect this financial freedom in my future. And so that is going to change my attitude, which will change my behavior, which will allow me to receive those blessings. And then be open to the possibility of things not always going our way, right? So sometimes in our life, we're going to receive things that we're not necessarily wanting, not necessarily what we're looking for. And we just have to realize that that is part of our path. That's part of getting to what we want. And then lastly, and I think this is the most important one, we talk about this, I feel like every single day, but focus on that gratitude. So when Hill calls me up, as he does 5 days a week, just kidding, Hill, and says, wow, you are so smart. Thank you, Hill, you're so sweet. I have to practice the gratitude of, wow, there are people in my life that say nice things about me. There are people in my life that think these things about me. What a lucky human being I am. I am so grateful for it. So if we can just pull that gratitude, so those uncomfortable moments when somebody says something nice to me, instead of me, doing that, you guys have seen it, like that awkward thing that I do, instead of that, I've got to sit there and just focus on the gratitude that I'm so grateful that there's people that love me and that think nice things, and what a true gift that is. And with everything, whatever we want to receive, we've got to be grateful for it. So be grateful for what we have today. Be grateful for the relationships we have, the community that we have, the stuff, right? Like, I am so grateful that I have clean water to drink every day and a roof over my head, and all of these things that we can absolutely take for granted. Show great gratitude for that, and we'll be able to receive so much more. So this was a good one, Coach. I hope my toes recover. And I look forward to receiving more today.
No, it's great for me too. Yeah. On both sides, to just say thank you and then pay it forward when somebody else does it for me, like sometime during the day. So thank you for the word. And guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Happy Tuesday. Have a great day out there. We'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you.
Many blessings.
Awesome.
That
made me cry.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Nancy.
Linda.
That was
Good
so
word.
good. I
Love you.
love
Have a
it,
great
y'all.
day.
Thank
Perfect Tuesday. Guys.